comes from Magpie2541, one of our regular viewers.
Hello again, it's another random Sunday vlog. I was hoping to get some more videos in this weekend, but I've been completely out of it. Anyway, something here I've been talking about on Facebook for a while, but just putting some comments up about it. Registration began this week for the Big Brother Australia 2012. It's been off the air over here in Australia for about 4 years now. The reason for it is I think that the selection pool significantly just became too small, and they weren't picking the right people for it and everything. I think the last two seasons were probably not that good from memory. I didn't really see anyone on the last live show I saw that I'd really be interested in. I didn't even bother watching the last season at all, really. It just didn't look like it was getting interested in me. And it'd been on the air about, they've done about 8 seasons by then, and by the time you get to 8 seasons about 8 seasons about anything really, I think you start to really, as an average viewer, unless you really love the show and you're really into the story, you've had enough. You really have. So I think it was just one of those things. It was time to put it away for a little while and bring it back a few years later. And luckily, it's going to emanate from the same place. I think that's a good idea. I mean, they could have done it from anywhere else, but they would have had to build from scratch. I think because it's going to a new channel and it's been off the air for a while, people are probably like, will it be as big as it was last time? The thing about it is, I'm not sure what time it's going to be airing. Because you got to realise, when it was on Channel 10, there was no big worry about it clashing with anything. Because in the country areas like where I am, we get our local news, the regular national news, and then we get a current affair. And we don't usually get whatever airs at 7 o'clock. So maybe it will only be airing on Go in the country areas, or maybe it will be airing a little bit later. I honestly don't know how they're going to do it. But yeah, some thoughts about what they should do. I think if they're saying they're bringing it back, they should just cut it down to the bare bones. Maybe, I don't even know how much money they're going to be putting up this time, because for a couple of seasons there it was $1 million, and then I think it was the last season they went back to 250. Anyway, so who knows? Maybe they're only going to give away 100,000. Who knows? But yeah, the name for it was going to be Big Brother Secrets, but they dropped the secrets, so maybe there's going to be a different, they're just going to do a standard Big Brother show to start off with. The intruder thing, maybe I think that's sometimes a good idea, but if you're going in as one of them, you got to realize your time, no matter if you stay or if you go, is going to be short. Yeah, especially because for some reason, if you're an intruder at least this is the Australian version, it seems like if you're an intruder in an Australian version of Big Brother, your time on the show is limited. Like, usually, if you get to stay, it's only for an extra week. Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to it, to see what they do with it, because it was getting a bit like, oh god, what are they going to do this year? I forget what year for one of the. I think it was probably the 4th or 5th year in. They started doing this show Friday night games, and then even after the show ended, they started doing a version of it as a game show. And I just thought, oh god, it was like yeah, it's a knockout. I don't know if anyone's seen that, but yeah, it was just weird. A wipeout, you would call it now. Yeah, it was just wacky. So I'm not sure what sort of talent they're gonna have on the show. But yeah, they're looking for real people. Real people. Okay, so what does that mean? Yeah, so I think it's I think it was a good idea to take it off the air, and I think it's a good idea to bring it back. Because I was starting to miss it and starting to think maybe it wasn't that bad after all. And I've kind of gone back and had a look, and maybe it wasn't that bad at all. At least to begin with. But it seemed to me that like they were trying to do the whole romance sort of thing. They were trying, and once they realised that was the formula that worked, they really started to push it. Yeah, so as long as they don't try and push that type of thing, maybe try and push some conflict if they really want to. But there's a few ideas that I've thought of, and doing some stuff again. Like there was this one series where they had like what they called the Revenge Room. What they did was they took two people out of the house. They made the other housemates think they were eliminated. They stuck them in this this other room, and for a couple of days, like for an entire weekend, I think it was, they had them pulling pranks on their housemates, like stealing their clothes, turning the hot water off, silly things like that. And unfortunately, because this was the other thing I really wanted to talk about, is the show was half an hour. They're in the house 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So maybe they were awake for a gazillion times that. Okay. Well, they were awake maybe 18 hours, 16 hours of the day. So 16 hours, half an hour. So I think the show should try and kind of push to try and be an hour long, but I know the problem is once you get down to about 2 or 3, it's going to be hard to fill that. But at least have like another, like maybe some other clips of the show online. Like this is what also happened. I think. They should maybe even stick it up on YouTube, like some other clips of the show from that day. or even just after they happen, you know, like edit them together. And to watch more goings on, go to www.bigbrotheraustralia.com or something like that, you know. Anyway, I think I've rambled on long enough. This is going to be 10 minutes, so this is going to take forever for me to upload. Okay, thank you, goodbye.